Questions reflect answers. It's called a reflecting ampergram. Maps. Finding our place in the world. My place is here with a chocolate cookie and some tea. This is an interesting book. Maps have been around thousands of years. This is the kind of map a lot of people are familiar with. Topographical map. This is what we use around here to ensure that we can find our way when our GPSs don't work. But plus it's easier to get like a regular map. This is the second section of the seventh major question: where do you want to go? And this is about answers. Maps can give you a lot of answers. This is interesting that they here the questions, which is the previous subject, that maps can answer for you. Where am I and how do I get to where I want to be? What does the world look like and what is my place in it? What does my part of the world look like and how do I belong there? What happened here? What will happen here? And how are these events important to me? How can maps help me comprehend things that I can't even see? How can maps enhance my literary and artistic experiences? How can I get access to maps, acquire, and use them? Definitely a worthwhile book if you're interested in maps. And it's kind of interesting, one of the bookmarks in here was Mapping Imaginary Worlds. This is a instruction how you can grow your own mushrooms. Interesting indoor culture for your own tasty, free, fresh mushrooms, which is what we'll be doing after this nice rainy weather. We'll be getting our maps out and looking for mushrooms. You know, all of these questions, they are also metaphorically tied to our life. Maps are mostly known for helping us find our way from getting here to there. But you know, if you're in a familiar place, you probably don't need a map. But if you're looking for hidden things you want to find, or places you've never been, a map can save you a lot of time. So the fact that time is limited for each of us is the thing that keeps us from finding what we want or getting where we want to go. I had certainly no idea what I wanted to do in life except live in the mountains. So, ending up here, my chocolate cookie and cup of tea was a result of a map that started centered on my most passionate hobby, being in the mountains. I like wondering and wandering, which is what's happening today. It's always good, though, to have a map with you, because even if you have your phone, your GPS, sometimes, that doesn't work. So, and maps were made from experience. Either people were here before you, or a satellite was here before you. But yeah, and so learning from other people's experience is extremely important. And one of the things I learned very early, my dad taught me, was the questions you ask yourself will reflect the answers that you get. And so it's very important what questions you ask, because if you ask questions like, is that a beautiful mushroom or what? Some nice shroomies, but I'm not exactly sure what they are. And since I'm not going to the mushroom control today, I am not taking them. There's a bunch around here. And there's a nice, very nice one that we're looking for. Yeah, so this mushroom hunting is truly, I really enjoy it, getting out here. I mean, in this beautiful forest. But it is a little tricky sometimes when they're down like this. Oh, there's some nice ones right next to it too. Unfortunately, that one up there looks a little old, but there's one right up there at the top that is looking good. And this one is looking pretty good, actually. Doesn't look too bad. That one's a little bit old, but we'll take it anyway, because otherwise it'll go to waste. So, this is one I probably should have got the walking stick. That makes sense, doesn't it? Okay. .1 Answers. James Dillett Freeman, a poet and minister, the only poet to have his poems taken to the moon twice, said, sometimes the answer to prayer is not that it changes life, but it changes you. Lao Tzu said, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are and what you want. Nothing is what you lack, and nothing is the answer to the riddle. What is greater than God, more evil than the devil? The rich need it, the poor have it, and if you eat it, you will die. Chances are, if you're listening to this, you live in one of the most affluent societies in the world. More than likely Europe or in the USA. You're materially wealthy. You have fulfilled 2 of the 7 steps in Maslow's famous hierarchy of needs, the biological and physiological needs of air, food, drink, shelter, warmth, and sleep, along with the second level needs, the safety needs of security, order, law, and stability, are really taken for granted as our reality. Most of us need only to seek answers to the questions of belongingness, esteem, cognitive needs, aesthetic needs, and self-actualization needs. Now, you probably know where you are. If you know where you are, a map of where you can go is very valuable. If you don't know where you are, it means nothing.
Where I live in Switzerland, the ski pistes are usually indicated by numbers instead of names as they do in the USA. It frequently gets foggy and it's very easy to get lost. If you have a map of another mountain, which I know somebody has done this, um, you wouldn't know by looking at the map because of the fact that many pistes are just numbers instead of names. Not only do you have to know where you are, but you have to make sure you get the right map. For most of us, the passage of time and the map of our life is not a familiar thing. We don't have a map of the future. However, we can map out our future by mapping out our past. If you write down all the fun times, activities, relationships, and fun jobs that you've had, odds are that if you seek to recreate those, it will also create more fun for you in the future. As with all maps, they are best created by people that have already traveled in that area or found the things you are looking for. Just because someone else has been there doesn't mean it isn't the road less traveled or life, quote, off the beaten path. Since no one has ever been over the geography of your life, the closest you will come is to study other people's maps and see what part of their life you would like to emulate. Find out what their map looked like and then start to create your own map. To create a geographical map 200 years ago was an arduous task. Today, with satellite imaging and GPS systems, our geographical maps are almost perfect. Early maps only included the path and prominent landmarks along the path. Fortunately, in regard to life maps, we will hopefully never be able to see into the future with the accuracy of satellite imaging, so we can create our maps and choose our destinations as we go along. Our life maps will always be difficult tasks to formulate and will only include where we have been, the path we were on now, a few landmarks, and flags in the distance indicating possible destinations. So, to start making your map, start by looking for fun, and when you know what is fun for you, then start mapping out some fun. Since everyone's definition of fun is a little different, and I can only speak from personal experience, we'll start with the fun that ultimately led me to write these words. And that is my hobbies. Books are a hobby for me. Everyone should have hobbies. Mine are skiing, hiking, fishing, music, reading, writing, traveling, magic, and art. Most people have to pursue their hobbies on their time off from their jobs or family responsibilities or on vacation. If you can make your hobbies part of your vocation, you're on your way to making your vocation your vacation. I always love that saying. Thanks, John. Even though skiing is my favorite sport, I would not really want to work on a ski mountain as a ski patroller or ski instructor or even a guide. But I would like to possibly make a vocation about writing about it and writing about my other hobbies too. I think that would be fun enough to take me over the fun point threshold so that I wouldn't feel like it was work. Add in the freedom to work freelance or make your own schedule, and it sounds even better. So, where do you want to be? When you determine where you want to be, you can start making a map of where you should go. According to research in most of the world, where there's a lack of work, the fact of just having work is consistently rated second after family as the most important ingredient in happiness. Even with the last great economic crisis of 2008, most of us are blessed with an abundance of choices for work so that we can actually choose what kind of work we would find most gratifying. Maybe not immediately, but if we have that flag in the distance, we can start to move toward it. This doesn't mean that you will find one job, like the myth of that one special mate, where everything is hunky-dory. Having fulfilling work is one of the most important destinations that you can map out. But before you begin the map, you need to know where you want to go. Answering one or more of the following questions will help give you direction. As Jimmy Page wrote in Stairway to Heaven, yes, there are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there is still time to change the road you're on. And it makes me wonder. Well, it made me wander a lot, but that was what I wanted to do. I got the travel bug from my parents, and got the ski bug from my brother, and I just wanted to learn to ski. And that actually was what led me pretty much my whole life. And so I guess I was lucky, which is the topic of the next section, actually. So those questions. This is vocation questing. Number one, what's your favorite hobby and why? Number two, what occupations could involve that hobby, and would you be happy in one of those occupations? That's hard to answer. Number three, if money were no object, what occupation would you choose? Art would be me. What kind of occupations could include your hobby, or what you like about your hobbies? Number five, what do you like best about your current occupation? Number six, can you stay in the same field but change your job to get more of what you like best? And number seven, if you had to choose a holiday where you had to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but you could choose to work, what would you choose to do? Now, if you're young and single, maybe you'd want to be, and male, I don't know, maybe, you want to be the personal suntan oil spray guy in Las Vegas at the Rio Sapphire nude sunbathing pool. You can tell I thought about that before. If you have a challenge with these questions, try writing down what your job from hell would be. Get detailed. Then go back and use the opposite of that for finding your job from heaven. When you have that, take 10 minutes and imagine what it would be like. Sometimes people find that they are a bit lost trying to imagine their dream job. If you want to be independent, do you have the self-discipline to work enough to pay the bills? Many times people that think that they want to be independent, they actually need structure in their work to be successful. If you're one of those, you are in the majority. However, if you can still do what you love, and don't worry because you love it, it won't seem like work. Having work that gives you a sense of purpose is where you probably want to go. It is the ultimate treasure. Put this work from heaven on a flag in the distance. If you can see it, you can reach it. Never getting everything you want means to always have goals in front of you. If you could give one answer to the world, what would it be?